I feel like I came out of my mum's womb singing, and that's what she used to say to me. They play that video all the time. They look at Chaka Khan, they go, "Mummy, it's you." And I'm going, "Oh, Chaka Khan, it's not me." You gotta have thick skin in life. I'll tell you something, that working men's club in Enfield gave me thick skin. Yes, it did. My mum always kept me grounded. She never let me forget my roots, where I'd come from, how hard she worked and what she sacrificed to allow her children to do more in life. And I think it's a valuable lesson. I feel like I came out of my mum's womb singing, and that's what she used to say to me, because performing just being a performer was my dream. It was my absolute dream. And my mum was in Soul to Soul, so I know for sure I got it from her. But just when I was growing up, I just remember being like, seeing my mum on Top of the Pops, for example, and when she came back home, and I just remember saying to her, "You're a princess and you sing and you're a mum, and I want to be just like you." And I just went, and she was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I want to be a princess, I want to be a mum, and I want to be a singer. I'm not a princess, but I'm a mum now and I'm a singer, so it's great." My mum was my biggest inspiration and also my biggest advocate. She would like, I think she must have seen something in me, because I remember there was times when I was younger where I would go in and out of the decision of wanting to be a singer because I wanted to play outside with my friends. So 6 weeks holidays would arrive and she'd go and learn Whitney Houston's album Greatest Hits and come back and perform every single tune to me, whilst my siblings were outside playing in the streets of Islington, but not me. So I remember saying to her, "I don't know if I want to be a singer or an actress anymore, Mum, or a dancer. I just want to be me, you know, and play with my friends." And she would forbid it. So my mum was quite strict with me, but for very good reason. And then every time that she would be at work on the weekends, whether she was performing at a wedding or a pub, a bar mitzvah, wherever she was, right, I was right there. I was right by her side, because she called it my second school. She was like, "This is how you learn to perform, to do live music, to get on stage and to get some confidence." And she would take me everywhere with her without fail. This one time, it does make me laugh, because yeah, right. So I remember working every other Sunday at a working men's club right in Enfield. It's since closed down. And I remember exactly where it was. And I used to go there and do maybe 4 hours of work. I would be singing my little socks off. And I tell you, for the first 2 hours, nobody would clap. Yeah, dreadful. It was heartbreaking. And then I'd have to get drunk in order to understand that this is what you're meant to be doing. You're meant to be up, you're meant to be dancing, you're meant to be having a great time with me. And it would get to the third or fourth 45-minute set of those 4 hours that I was there. And then I'd get them up dancing. My goodness, it was hard work. Lord have mercy. But it was great training to not take it personally. They were just chatting and had a lovely time anyway, but just didn't want to clap. It's quite sad. Yeah. My mum always used to say to me, "You gotta have thick skin in life." I'll tell you something, that working men's club in Enfield gave me thick skin. Yes, it did. I'll never forget how it felt when I made it all the way to judges' houses at 16 years old with Louis Walsh, and got told, "No, it's not my time." And I was, of course, completely crushed, because, you know, the show opened up finally for 16-year-olds, and that was the youngest I think that you could start the show, and I was so excited. But in hindsight, it wasn't the right time for me to go further than that point. Then going back at 19 and then winning, oh my goodness. For me, what's kept me grounded, and still to this day, and back then, was my mum. And one example, she just never let me forget who I was and where I'd come from. I'm a girl from Islington that got extremely lucky. I know I work hard, but I find it like amazing that I can say that my job is my dream that I've dreamt of as a kid, you know. But I just love what I do, and I've always loved acting. But my mum always used to say to me, acting needs to come last, dancing needs to come last, singing needs to come first, and the rest will follow. And my God, she was right. At the time, I didn't believe her, but my goodness, she's right, because it's all followed, and I feel very blessed. So when I got offered the Bodyguard Musical to play Rachel Marin when I was 23 years old, I actually turned it down. And I turned it down, you know, if I go back, like, my mum was Whitney's backing singer. It felt like it was a moment for me to take, and I just didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe I could execute 8 shows a week singing Whitney Houston. I didn't think I was good enough. I hadn't tested my acting skills at the time, and I thought this role, this moment is too big for me to fail. and failure kept coming to the forefront of my mind. Simon Cowell actually told me I was crazy and said I should have gone for it. He thought I would have been great. My mum was really disheartened that I'd said no, but I felt like it was the right decision for me at the time because I didn't have the confidence. 3 years later, I got offered the role. I was living in New York and my mum was with me, and I got the call and they were like, right, it's closing in London. Can you come and do the last 3 months? And my mum was like, if you don't get your backside on that plane, I'll be doing it for you, love. And I was like, all right, calm down. We're getting on the plane. So off we go back to London. And I get put into the show very, very quickly, and it's so daunting. And the one thing that gave me the most encouragement was on day 2 of the show, I'd lost my voice. And I was like, I don't think I can do tonight. And so I went in anyway to see the MD, the musical director, just to see how my voice was, if it could warm up in the day. And they went, right, how do you feel now? And I was like, I just don't know if it's gonna happen. And they were like, right, well, Dionne Warwick's come tonight. I said, I'll be on that stage, babes. Me bells and whistles on. And I was on that stage. And I didn't miss a show, and I was very proud. And that's Whitney's auntie. Like, what a privilege. And that's why I say to people, you know, it's the hardest job. You've got to make sure you're in good health. You've got to keep them vocal cords in good health. You never know who's in that building. You just never know who's going to turn up. And I had the privilege of performing in front of Dionne Warwick, singing her niece's tunes. I mean, I'm one lucky girl. So playing Rachel Marin that's my baby. That show's my baby. I went on to go to do the tour. I'd done the tour. I was actually associated with the show for maybe about 4 or 5 years, I think. And then I was like, I need to take a step back because I want to do other things, but it will always be my baby. And I'm forever grateful to Michael Harrison and David Ian for giving me that opportunity to start my career in theatre because they believed in me. And to Thea as well, the director, and Frank Thompson, the associate director, God bless his soul, who's no longer with us, but they really did believe in me. And I'm eternally grateful to all 4 of them. I think when Bev was coming to the end of doing The Bodyguard and when I took over, I think she was quite sad about leaving, but she was going on to another show. And the one thing that she did say to me, I remember being backstage and she was just like, just to take care of yourself, because it was my first ever theatre show, and she was just like, just take care of you. And as we all know, that theatre shows, you go through a journey as an actress, as a singer, and no 2 shows are ever going to be the same. But it's the same advice that my mum would always say to me, you've just got to take care of you and get your rest. And it's easier said than done when you're mid-20s and you finish a show and you're in the West End and you want to go out and you want to have fun. But I was so disciplined. And I only went out for, you know, with my family on a Saturday when I knew I had a day off on the Sunday. Other than that, I was the boring one that was like, sorry guys, got to go home, I've got to take care of that. And I'm still like that to this day. So that's never changed, and it won't change because I need to protect my voice. So now I'm playing Chaka Khan. I'm originating my first ever musical, which is the biggest blessing. It's the one thing I've been dreaming of. And finally I've got this moment. What's weird is that actually when I think about it and talk about it, I actually auditioned with Chaka Khan Ain't Nobody for X Factor. That's the audition that people didn't see because it was in front of producers. And where we're performing now at the Troubadour Theatre is actually formerly known as Fountain Studios, where I won X Factor. I've performed for Chaka Khan in 2012, but never thought in my life that I'd play her and originate this role. So it's a pinch me moment. And how I'm preparing, if I'm honest, we've been doing this since January 12th, and it's been a long, kind of a hard but long journey in terms of going through the emotions of her journey. It's so emotional, her highs, her lows, all of it's quite emotional, and it's probably my most challenging role yet because it's someone's life story. She's here to tell the tale. She's here to give me constructive criticism when she watches the show, and I just want to do it justice. And I keep reminding myself, the director as well, Raki, keeps reminding me, and she says, you're not impersonating Chaka Khan, so I don't want you to sound like her. I'm not trying to have you talk like her. And Chaka Khan said it to me herself on the phone. I said, I'm going to go online and study how you speak. And she went, absolutely not. You do not do that. You don't go online and study how I speak. I'm just straight talking, so just be straight talking. I was like, okay. So I'm just here to hopefully do her story justice. And we just want everyone to have a great time with us on this stage, because by the end of it, if you're not on your feet dancing, if you're not rejoicing with us and celebrating Shaka's life and the woman that's given us so many years of great music, then I tell you something, I give you back your money, because I'll be up dancing, so hopefully you will be too. Opening night, I would love for my kids to come. They're not invited. Sorry, sadly. Sorry, you can't make it. And I tell you why, because the show's heavy. And, you know, when I've done shows where it's like Adam's Family, they've seen, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, they were, you know, very young, but one was in my tummy when I first started it, so that one is always rejoicing. But I have to say, they're not coming to see Shaka, no, but they do love Chaka Khan. Their favourite song is actually I Feel For You. They play that video all the time. They look at Chaka Khan, they go, Mummy, it's you. And I'm going, no, Chaka Khan, it's not me. But you know, my baby's only 3, one's about to turn 3 and one's just turned 4. So they don't really understand much yet, but they're desperate to see the show. But because it's too heavy and there's some spicy words in there, my babies are starting to repeat what I say. So unfortunately, you're not invited to the party, but I'll show you when you're older.
One final question.
Because of how this show has been my first ever originating role, and I've enjoyed originating the role. Every other role I've done has been a cover or a takeover, right? So I'm desperate to just originate a role. You know, I'm desperate to just do those kind of things and really work hard for those moments, because they take time. You know, the right role has to be the right role. But Death Becomes Her is what I want to be a part of with Maz Murray. Okay, the queen of theatre is my girl and godmother to my children, Maz Murray. She just actually called me, so I've got to call her back. I'm busy at the minute, but it's Maz Murray, okay? And I want to do Death Becomes Her with her because I think she's just wonderful. And I've done Chicago with Maz, so we've got a great connection. But I think for me, I'd love to keep originating roles. I'm very lucky when I get offered roles. And I've always said, I always ask to be auditioned, because I think it's important to be auditioned, to know that I can do the role. But yeah, I want to get back to music, and I want to get back to more movies and TV dramas. Like, acting is definitely where my heart is at. But at the minute, I feel like this at the moment is a pinch me moment with Shaka. Playing her, originating this role. God, I just didn't think that it was going to come my way. So yeah, I hope that more moments like this come my way, and I'll just keep praying for it.